This is my third time in Pakistan, and I'm technically on vacation. And I'm very thankful that I've had an opportunity to visit Pakistan 3 times. And I will say, and I've said this in Lahore, and I almost got beat up, that the Karachi biryani is the best. So I'm sorry, I know some of you might not find that comment very popular. That's okay. But yeah, I'm technically on vacation, and I took a couple of moments out of my time to be here with you today. So even though I do work at IBM and I'm the global head of a startup accelerator at IBM, see this talk as in my personal capacity. And the reason I say that is there's a lot of process within the IBM team around what I can and cannot do when I travel. So I want to be respectful of some of the rules that I have within the world of IBM. But honestly speaking, whether I was wearing my IBM hat or not, the presentation would be the same. So with that, what I'd like to do is maybe just introduce myself. I have a lot of hats that I wear, and I think a lot of people ask me, wow, you've been to Pakistan 3 times this year. What the heck are you doing in Pakistan? And I've got 3 startups in my program out of 15 from Pakistan. And for me, that's one of my startups over there. So this is another one of my gang. But for me, we had 50 countries apply to the program, 50. 150 applications, which I'm sure will grow over time. The first time we launched this, and for me, having 3 startups with, who got their sea legs in Pakistan, wow, I think that shows a lot about what innovation is coming from Pakistan in the tech sector, and that's what will continue to bring me to Pakistan. I'm a former Microsoftie, so it was nice to see some of my Microsoft colleagues here today. I spent 5 years at Microsoft as an impact investor in internet and energy access and bringing digital skills to people without access to the internet. I run my own nonprofit on the side, which a lot of people ask, okay, wait a second, that's a whole heck of a lot of stuff to do. I'm very thankful that I have a really wonderful team of people who actually do the real work. We teach people to code, and we have taught tens of thousands of kids to code in 12 countries. And when we teach young people about computer science, it's really about how do we think about the skills, the real skills. So when we think about digital transformation, what are the real skills that people need to increase education outcomes, healthcare outcomes, economic outcomes? And one of the other hats that I wear is I'm on the board of a nonprofit that has 30 schools, informal schools here in Pakistan, and we teach young people in rural communities how to read and write. I haven't had an opportunity yet to visit the rural communities. Again, I'm hoping as I continue to learn more about Pakistan and spend more time here, I'll have an opportunity to really see and experience what out-of-school youth are challenged with. And with that, I put some slides together really about, and I don't know how well this maps into, specifically the focus of this particular event, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, as leaders in the community, what are the skills that people need to have for the future of work? So relevant for all of us, right? Even as individuals, as our jobs are changing. Many of the things that we're all doing in our jobs today might go away. And so for me, I look at this and I think about, tech is bringing about, rapid transformation, rapid disruption, whole lots of stuff that's coming into that, whether that's data and analytics, AI, and we hear a lot about the role that AI is playing and will play when it comes to taking over jobs, or when it comes to reskilling, and that impacts all of us. I know it impacts me, and it impacts each and every one of you, whether you're a doctor or a laborer. I think it's also brought about a lot of opportunities, and I think that is a big opportunity specifically here in Pakistan. I think that there is an amazing access to technical talent and lots of things, I think, as a team that we could do to make the world more digitally inclusive. And I think that also includes empowering women and girls to be the leaders of tomorrow. So with that, I think employee expectations have changed. I don't know how all of you feel about the kind of job that you want to have, or the kind of mentorship role that you want to have with the people who work with you. But for me, I believe that people are, especially young people, are thinking about how do you do well while doing good. So conscious capitalism is not just about how do we go out and make a lot of money, but how do we make the world a better place? Whether that's, again, increasing healthcare outcomes or improving the patient experience. But our employees are looking for things, and our leaders are looking for things that go beyond how do I make good money? How do I feel good about the work that I do? And that's more purpose-driven. I think it also goes into the concept of, intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship. I've created my own job at IBM. Imagine that, 300 and some odd thousand people, and I made my own job. When I first joined IBM, I came in to create this startup program. I now am a thought leader when it comes to working with the United Nations on digital inclusion, female empowerment, and youth empowerment. And I've done 20 talks at the UN. And I'm hopefully taking a lot of those learnings and activities and implementing them in places like Pakistan and around the world so that we can empower young people to transform their lives through technology. Not being consumers of technology, but creators, makers, and doers empowered by technology. With the right skills, that directly impacts their health, it directly impacts their socioeconomic status, and it directly impacts their education outcomes. So what do we do to future-proof our employees? I put some bullet points up here, and I think this, again, is how do we think about how this impacts us as individuals, but also the people we're working with and the people who we're empowering. So I kind of look at it across a number of different realms. And everyone is, obviously able to read the slides, so I'm not going to read them to you. But for me, I think the biggest thing that I look at here is how do I create my own existence, whatever that might be. And one of the things that I've been really excited about in my role and in my job is having an opportunity to work with early stage entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs with less than $1 million in revenue, less than 5 years old. So are any of you entrepreneurs in the room with your own startups? I know you are. I'm happy to talk with anyone in the room who is on their entrepreneurship journey, or if you've got your own little side shimmy or your own little idea of, hey, I've been thinking about doing this, where do I start? Where do I go? Or, hey, my kid is thinking about doing this, or my cousin, or my whatever. I'm always happy to engage and share, how can we become entrepreneurs of tomorrow? It's the right time. And I think that whether you're thinking about being an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, the concept is still the same. How do you come in and innovate and bring new ideas and not just come in and do your job? You have to do more than your job, and you have to believe in what you are doing. I think for me, I do a lot of talks in public about female empowerment, youth empowerment, digital skills, internet access, a lot of these kinds of things. And I get invited back because I think when I talk about these things, and hopefully you feel the same, I care. I don't just show up and read some slides and talk about some World Economic Forum report or what the Harvard School of Business says about blah. I care about it. So whether this is you as an individual or you within your organization, what can you do to be prepared? Obviously everyone needs to have their own strategy, but it starts from there and recognizing that you're in charge of your own future. And it's happening, it's coming. And I don't know what happened to this slide. I swear it looked pretty before. That's okay, you can read it. All right, so Again, these are a few things that I grabbed from a report that IBM put together that really kind of thinks about what do you need to do to be prepared. I'm not going to go through and read each of these, but for me, the biggest piece is building a community. And one of the things that I heard that I really liked, and I felt like it was birds of a feather, for the people, with the people, by the people. And I use that a lot in my organization. It's called Mentor Nations, where we teach young people about computer science and digital skills. One of the things that we talk about, because it's all youth-led and youth-run, and all of our camps, all of our education initiatives are all 50% girls. And what we say is for youth, by youth, with youth, for women, with women, by women. Unless people have a seat at the table and are thinking about what does that patient or customer or youth experience look like, it's just as important to have a diverse group of people at the table and it truly be community driven, which is one of the reasons why I believe, and I initially believed and I still believe in the work that the PX Pulse team is doing when it comes to patient experience. Community has to be involved and they have to have a seat at the table. So I'm most active on Twitter. That's probably the easiest way to reach me. Noman can attest I'm a heck of a lot more responsive on Twitter than I am through email. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm trying to figure out, how do I be responsive everywhere? I think we are all expected to be in a lot of places at a lot, in many different times. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I personally have is how do I balance all the cool work that I have an opportunity to do? And I think it's a good problem to have. When you're in a purpose-driven career and when you're doing something you believe in, you've got so many different things you can choose from. And for me, I wake up in the morning knowing that I'm making a difference in the world and I feel good about the work that I'm doing, and it makes me wake up tomorrow. So for those of you who are in a job that you're not happy about, or you haven't, gotten involved in the community in a way that, could be beneficial to the community, I implore you to do that, because you wake up in the morning and you feel good. And I wake up in the morning and I feel good. And there was a time in my life where I didn't. And now I can wake up in the morning and say, I'm helping to make the world a better place. Thank you.